Imagine a moment when you're feeling overwhelmed, lost in the noise of life, the weight of the world pressing down on your shoulders. What if I told you that in the midst of that chaos, there's a way to not just survive, but to truly thrive? What if I told you that there's a solution to the stress, the doubts, the inner battles that you've been fighting for so long? I promise you, the answer isn't somewhere out there, waiting for you to find it. It's right here, inside you. Right now, in this very moment. You have the power to heal, to grow, and to take control of your life. You have the ability to turn any situation around. I don't care where you've been or where you're starting from, your life can transform in the blink of an eye. You see, therapy isn't just about sitting with a therapist, it's about reconnecting to the true power within you, unlocking your potential, and creating the life you deserve. I'm here to show you how to make that shift. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll be ready to take action and step into a new chapter of your life. So let's dive in. Introduction. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm Tony Robbins, and I'm here with you today to share something that will change the way you look at your life, your growth, and your ability to create extraordinary results. We're going to explore something that, when fully understood, has the potential to dramatically alter the course of your future, therapy in a nutshell. Now, therapy is a concept that many of us associate with deep introspection, often involving a lot of talking, perhaps about our past or our pain. But therapy is so much more than that. Therapy isn't just about managing emotions or working through trauma. It's about understanding yourself on a deep, profound level and making the changes that will unlock your true potential. This is not a passive experience. This is about taking action, about connecting with your inner power and empowering yourself to become the person you are destined to be. You'll learn how to shift your mindset, overcome your limitations, and finally take control of your life. Because, at the end of the day, therapy is not just about fixing what's broken. It's about empowering you to become the best version of yourself. And that, my friends, is what I want to help you achieve today. So, buckle up, because we're about to take a ride into personal transformation. This is your moment to rise. Chapter 1, Understanding the Power Within You. I want you to take a deep breath with me right now. Close your eyes if you can, and just take a moment to check in with yourself. Feel your feet firmly planted on the ground. Feel your chest rise and fall with every breath. Just pause and acknowledge the present moment. Now, I want you to think about this question. How much of your life are you allowing circumstances to control? How much of your power have you handed over to things, to people, or to situations that you think are outside of your control? Maybe you feel like life is a series of challenges you have to endure, like a never-ending cycle of work, stress, and responsibility. Perhaps you feel like you're being pushed in 1,000 different directions, and at times, it may seem like there's no clear path forward. But here's the thing I want you to understand right now. You are not at the mercy of life's circumstances. You see, so many of us fall into the trap of thinking that everything that happens to us is random, that we are simply the victims of fate. We think that success or happiness depends on external factors, the job you have, the money in your bank account, the people around you, your childhood, the city you live in, or the relationships you're in. We think these are the things that determine the quality of our lives. But this thinking is misleading. Your circumstances do not define you. You do. You are the creator of your own life. The moment you take responsibility for your life and recognize the power you hold within, you unlock something incredible, the ability to shift your reality. Let me give you a personal story. When I was young, I didn't have much. I didn't come from money. I didn't have connections or a prestigious education. At one point, I was living in a small, cramped apartment, struggling financially. I was constantly stressed, always worried about how I would make ends meet. And let me tell you, those days were incredibly tough. But something changed inside me during that time. I realized that I was focusing so much on my external circumstances that I was forgetting the most important thing. I had the power to change my life. I remember feeling like I was in a cage, trapped by my financial situation, my job, my circumstances. But then, one day, I had an epiphany. I realized that I didn't have to be a product of my circumstances. I didn't have to wait for something or someone to change things for me. I could take action right now. I could choose to focus on what I could control. And once I made that decision, everything began to shift. It was a gradual process. I started reading books, listening to tapes, attending seminars, and connecting with people who had the mindset and success I aspired to. I didn't wait for the perfect time or circumstances to begin. I started with what I had. I used my resources, my energy, and my drive to make small changes every day, and those small changes compounded over time into something huge. But here's the most important thing you need to understand: your mind is the gateway to your greatness. You see, it wasn't my circumstances that changed first. It was my mind. The moment I shifted how I thought about my situation, I shifted my reality. And when you make that mental shift, when you decide that you are in charge of your life, the universe starts to align with you. Opportunities begin to show up, and doors that once seemed closed begin to open. You start seeing the world in a different light. You don't need the perfect conditions to succeed, you just need the right mindset. The key to unlocking your potential lies in how you view your situation. Think about it for a second. Are you seeing your challenges as obstacles, or are you seeing them as opportunities for growth? Let me ask you this: how many of you have had challenges in your life that you thought were impossible to overcome? Maybe you felt like you were trapped in a dead-end job, a toxic relationship, or a situation where it felt like no matter what you did, things never seemed to change. I get it. We've all been there. But here's the secret: those moments are not defining moments, they are redefining moments. They are opportunities for you to prove to yourself that you are stronger than your circumstances. There's a quote that I love by the late, great Jim Rohn: "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." Now, you might be thinking, what does that have to do with understanding my power? Well, let me tell you. If you want to change your life, you have to change your environment. Surround yourself with people who are not just talking about success, but living it. Find people who challenge you, who uplift you, and who inspire you to reach higher. The people you choose to surround yourself with are a reflection of your current mindset. And if you want to elevate your life, you need to elevate your environment. The power you hold is not dependent on what's happening around you. It's all about how you respond to those circumstances. You can either react to life, letting it control you, or you can respond to life, taking charge of your path. Let's go even deeper. I want you to take a moment and think about your beliefs. What do you believe about yourself? What do you believe about the world around you? Our beliefs shape our reality. If you believe you're not worthy of success, that's exactly what you'll get: lack of success. If you believe you're destined for greatness, you'll start seeing evidence of that in your life. Your beliefs are like lenses through which you view the world. If you want to change your life, you have to change the lens through which you see it. I've worked with countless people who had limiting beliefs about what they could achieve. They would say things like, "I don't have the education to succeed," or "I'm too old," or "I don't come from the right background." And I've seen them completely transform when they let go of those beliefs and replace them with empowering ones. The moment you believe that you can do something, you start seeing the world as a place of possibilities, not limitations. Here's the truth I want you to remember: your beliefs are not facts. They're just thoughts you've accepted as truth. And the best part is, you have the ability to change those beliefs. You can decide right now to release the ones that limit you and replace them with beliefs that empower you. Now, let's bring this all together. Your circumstances do not define you. Your thoughts do. And that means you have the power to change your circumstances by changing your thoughts. It all starts with your mind. It's the foundation upon which everything else is built. You have the ability to take control of your life at any moment. You have the power to shift your perspective, rewrite your story, and make choices that align with the life you desire. So, I ask you again, how much of your life are you allowing circumstances to control? The truth is, no matter where you're starting from, you have the power to create the life you want. The only thing that's holding you back is your own thinking. Once you change that, everything else will fall into place. So, ask yourself, what would happen if you truly believed that your life is in your hands? The moment you take responsibility for your life, everything changes. Chapter 2, The Journey of Self-Awareness. I want you to take another deep breath. Close your eyes for a moment if you can, and imagine something with me. Picture yourself standing in front of a mirror. But this isn't just any mirror. This is the mirror of your true self, your deepest, most authentic self. What do you see? Do you see someone who is strong, confident, and filled with potential? Or do you see someone who is carrying the weight of past mistakes, fears, and doubts? Now, here's the powerful question. Can you face what you see in that mirror? Can you confront your true self, the version of you that might not always align with the person you want to be? Are you ready to take a deep, honest look into your own soul and acknowledge both your strengths and your weaknesses? Self-awareness is the cornerstone of any personal transformation. It's about being honest with yourself, not just about your dreams and desires, but also about your fears, your insecurities, and the parts of you that you often try to hide. It's easy to focus on the parts of ourselves that we want to improve or change. But what about the parts of ourselves that we need to accept first? When I started my journey, I had to face some tough truths about myself. For years, I thought I had it all figured out. I was pushing forward, working hard, climbing the ladder of success. But deep inside, there was something I wasn't willing to confront. There was a part of me that was deeply insecure, deeply afraid of failure, and deeply uncertain of my worth. I was so focused on the future that I failed to understand the importance of fully accepting who I was in that moment. I remember one day, sitting in a quiet room, thinking about where I was in life. I was successful by many standards, but I wasn't fulfilled. I wasn't at peace. And I had to ask myself, why? The truth was, I hadn't taken the time to really get to know myself, not the version I showed to the world, not the version I hoped to become, but the real version of myself. I had ignored the parts of me that felt vulnerable, scared, or even lost. I had ignored the negative beliefs I held deep down, and they were controlling me without me even realizing it. That's when I understood the power of self-awareness. It wasn't about fixing everything all at once. It was about acknowledging what was there, understanding it, and giving myself the compassion and love I needed to move forward. Self-awareness is the first step to real change. If you want to transform your life, you have to start by fully embracing who you are, even with all your flaws and imperfections. But here's the catch. Self-awareness isn't just about knowing what's wrong with you. It's also about recognizing what's right with you. So many people spend their entire lives focusing only on their weaknesses, never fully appreciating their strengths. But let me tell you something, you have incredible power within you. You have unique gifts, skills, and talents that no one else has. And part of being self-aware is not only confronting the parts of yourself that need work, but also embracing your brilliance, your potential, and your greatness. I want you to think about a time in your life when you felt truly proud of yourself. A moment when you accomplished something, big or small, that made you feel like you were on top of the world. Maybe it was finishing a big project, getting through a tough situation, or simply being there for someone who needed you. Whatever it was, remember how you felt in that moment. That feeling, that strength, is still inside you. You may not always recognize it, but it's always there, waiting for you to tap into it. Self-awareness also means recognizing your emotions. How often do you suppress your feelings, push them aside, or try to hide them from the world? Maybe you've been taught to ignore your emotions or that expressing them makes you weak. But let me tell you something, emotions are your body's way of communicating with you. They're not something to hide or avoid, they're something to understand and learn from. When you ignore your emotions, you're ignoring valuable information that could help you navigate your life more effectively. One of the most powerful exercises I've done on my own journey of self-awareness is something I call the emotional check-in. It's simple, but it's incredibly effective. Every morning, I ask myself 3 questions. How do I feel today? Not just about my to-do list, not about my goals, but about me. Why do I feel this way? What is the source of these emotions? Are they coming from fear, excitement, stress, or joy? What do I need to shift? If my emotions aren't aligned with where I want to be, what can I do to shift my mindset or energy? This practice of checking in with myself helps me stay grounded and aware of what's happening internally. It allows me to adjust my course when I'm not feeling my best or when I notice negative emotions taking control. It gives me the power to choose my response, rather than letting my emotions dictate my behavior. Now, I want you to do the same thing. Start your own emotional check-in. Ask yourself, how do I feel today? And if you feel frustrated, overwhelmed, or unsure, don't push those feelings away. Embrace them, understand where they're coming from, and then ask, what can I do to shift these feelings into something positive, something empowering? Self-awareness isn't just about recognizing what's wrong in your life. It's also about recognizing where you're holding yourself back. Many of us are unaware of the limiting beliefs, negative thoughts, or old patterns that are preventing us from stepping into our full potential. Awareness of your limiting beliefs is a game changer. One of the most profound shifts I've experienced was realizing how many of my beliefs were holding me back. For a long time, I believed that I wasn't worthy of success, that I had to work twice as hard as everyone else to achieve anything. And because I believed that, I kept creating situations where I had to prove myself over and over again, which only created more stress and burnout. Once I became aware of this belief, I had the power to change it. I started asking myself, why do I believe this? I started to challenge the idea that success was something I had to earn through struggle. I began to understand that I deserved success simply because I was willing to do the work and make the necessary changes. Once I became aware of these old beliefs, I could consciously choose to replace them with ones that served me better. So, what's your story? What beliefs have you been carrying that are limiting your potential? Here's the beautiful thing. Once you become aware of the things that have been holding you back, you can change them. Awareness gives you the power to rewrite your story. It helps you understand that you are the author of your life, and you can change the narrative whenever you choose. Takeaways from Chapter 2. Self-awareness is the key to transformation. You have to fully accept and embrace both your strengths and your weaknesses. Recognize and understand your emotions. They are messages from your body that can guide you. Become aware of your limiting beliefs. Once you do, you can rewrite them and create a new story for your life. Your power lies in the present moment. What you believe about yourself today is shaping your reality tomorrow. The journey of self-awareness is ongoing, and it takes time, but once you commit to facing yourself truthfully and with compassion, you will begin to see the world and yourself differently. Chapter 3. Releasing Past Trauma and Limiting Beliefs. Now, let me ask you a question. What are you still carrying from your past that is weighing you down? I want you to think for a moment. What emotions, experiences, or stories are you holding onto that are keeping you from stepping into your true potential? Maybe it's a mistake you made years ago. Maybe it's a failed relationship, a lost opportunity, or an event that scarred you in some way. Or maybe it's a belief about yourself, a story you've told yourself over and over again that is keeping you from moving forward. You see, trauma and limiting beliefs are the invisible chains that bind us to the past. They are the stories we continue to tell ourselves about who we are, what we deserve, and what we're capable of achieving. These are not the real stories of who we are. They are the stories we've inherited from experiences or people who may not have had our best interest at heart. Let me tell you a story. When I was younger, I carried around a massive amount of shame. For years, I felt like I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't worthy of success or love. The root of that belief stemmed from my early childhood experiences. My family struggled financially, and I constantly felt the pressure to prove my worth. I believed that I had to be perfect, whether it was in my work, my relationships, or my personal achievements, just to be accepted and loved. For years, I pushed myself relentlessly, never allowing myself to make mistakes or fail. But here's what happened. The more I pushed, the more I disconnected from who I truly was. I was living from a place of fear, fear of not being good enough, fear of failing, fear of being abandoned or rejected. Does any of this sound familiar to you? We all have stories, don't we? We have stories about who we think we are, about the mistakes we made in the past, about the things we didn't do right. And when we hold on to these stories, they shape the way we live. They dictate how we show up in our relationships, how we approach challenges, and how we view ourselves. The problem is, we cannot create a new future while we are still holding on to the past. The key to unlocking your potential and living a life of true freedom is to let go of the past. It's about breaking free from the chains that are holding you back. Here's the good news. You have the power to release all of that. You have the power to transform your past pain into strength, your past trauma into wisdom, and your limiting beliefs into empowering truths. But first, you must confront it. You must face it. When I was ready to let go of my own past, I had to take a deep look at the emotions I had buried for so long, guilt, shame, anger, and acknowledge them. I had to stop running from them. I had to allow myself to feel them and understand where they came from. Only then could I begin to heal. Let me guide you through a powerful exercise right now. If you feel comfortable doing so, close your eyes and take a deep breath. I want you to picture yourself standing in front of a door. This door represents everything you've been holding on to. Behind it are the fears, the shame, the mistakes, the regrets. It's everything from your past that's been keeping you stuck. Now, I want you to imagine walking up to that door and opening it. What's inside? What are the things you've been carrying with you? Picture those things, one by one. Now, here's the breakthrough moment. I want you to give yourself permission to let go of all of it. You can literally say to yourself, I choose to release this. I no longer need this in my life. It's not who I am. It doesn't define me anymore. You don't have to keep carrying the pain, the guilt, the shame, or the story of who you once were. Let it go. You might be thinking, but Tony, it's not that simple. And I understand. It's not easy to release something that has been a part of your identity for so long. But here's the truth. You can't move forward if you're still carrying the past with you. Let me be clear, releasing past trauma and limiting beliefs doesn't mean forgetting what happened or erasing your history. It means no longer allowing the past to control you. It means no longer letting your past experiences define your future. It means no longer being a prisoner to the beliefs you've held onto for so long. Let me share with you a story about one of my clients, Mark. Mark came to me in his early 40s, and he was struggling. He had a successful career, a beautiful family, but he felt empty. He didn't know why, but he felt like something was missing. We dove into his past, and it became clear Mark had experienced a lot of rejection growing up. His parents were emotionally distant, and he carried with him the belief that he wasn't worthy of love. This belief had followed him into his adult life, affecting his relationships and his career. He would sabotage his success, pushing away people who genuinely cared about him. Mark's breakthrough came when he realized that he had been carrying the burden of rejection for decades. He had never allowed himself to truly grieve the loss of love and connection he experienced as a child. But once he did, everything changed. He released the belief that he wasn't good enough, and in doing so, he was able to create deeper, more meaningful relationships, both personally and professionally. So, what do you need to release? What trauma, what pain, what limiting belief have you been holding onto that is no longer serving you? Here's how to start. Identify the limiting beliefs. What do you believe about yourself that is holding you back? Do you believe you're not worthy of success? Do you believe you can't trust people? Do you believe you're too old, too young, or not talented enough to make a change? Write down your beliefs, and then ask yourself, is this belief serving me? Is it empowering me to take action, or is it keeping me stuck? Feel the emotion. You can't release something if you don't allow yourself to fully feel it. Whether it's anger, sadness, guilt, or fear, sit with that emotion and understand where it comes from. Understand why it's there, and then allow it to pass through you. You don't need to suppress it anymore. Choose to let go. Once you've acknowledged the emotion and the belief, decide that it's time to let it go. You don't need to carry it anymore. You can choose to release it. And when you do, you'll feel an incredible sense of freedom. You'll feel lighter, more energized, and ready to move forward. This is where the real magic happens. When you let go of what's been holding you back, you open the door to your future. You clear away the mental and emotional clutter, and you create space for new, empowering beliefs, new experiences, and new possibilities. Takeaways from Chapter 3. Your past does not define your future. Let go of the trauma and limiting beliefs that are holding you back. Releasing is a choice. You have the power to decide that today is the day you release what no longer serves you. Healing begins with acknowledgement. You must feel your emotions and beliefs before you can let them go. Once you release the past, you create space for new possibilities. A life of freedom and possibility is waiting for you on the other side of this release. When you choose to release the old, you allow yourself to step into the new. You allow yourself to step into your true potential. And that is where the transformation begins. Chapter 4, Reclaiming Your Personal Power. Let me ask you something. Do you feel like you're in control of your life? Or do you sometimes feel like life is controlling you? Like circumstances, other people, or even your own emotions have a grip on you? I've been there, and I know how it feels. When I was younger, I used to believe that I had no control over my circumstances, that things just happened to me. I didn't realize that by allowing life to control me, I was giving up my power. I was letting fear, self-doubt, and uncertainty determine my actions. I was living as a passenger in my own life. But here's the truth. You have the power to reclaim your life at any moment. You can take back control, and you can start making decisions that align with your values, your desires, and your goals. Your personal power is within you right now, waiting to be unleashed. But I know what you might be thinking. Tony, it's not that easy. Life has thrown some serious challenges my way. And I get it. Life can be tough. We all go through hard times. I went through my own battles, facing financial struggles, a broken marriage, and the pressure to live up to expectations. But I want to tell you this, your circumstances do not define your personal power. The moment you decide to take back control, your life begins to shift. Let me share a story with you. When I was in my 20s, I hit rock bottom. I had nothing. I was broke, struggling with my self-esteem, and feeling like a failure. I remember sitting in my car one day, asking myself, why is this happening to me? I felt trapped, powerless, and lost. But in that moment, something shifted. I realized that I wasn't a victim of my circumstances. I was a creator of my life. I had the ability to change my situation, but I needed to change my mindset. I needed to reclaim my personal power. It was a slow process, but as I started taking responsibility for my life, I began making small changes. I started working on my mindset, reading books, and surrounding myself with positive influences. And gradually, I began to take action, small steps at first, but they added up. And over time, my life transformed. So how do you reclaim your personal power? Acknowledge that you are the creator of your life. Your circumstances do not have control over you. You have the power to create your own future by the decisions you make today. Take responsibility for your choices. Stop blaming others or external circumstances for your situation. Yes, life throws challenges at us, but we always have a choice in how we respond. Taking full responsibility for your life is the first step in reclaiming your power. Shift your mindset. The way you think about yourself and your circumstances shapes your reality. When you start believing that you are powerful, capable, and worthy, you begin to take actions that reflect that belief. Your mindset is a tool, and you can use it to your advantage. Focus on what you can control. Life can feel overwhelming when we focus on what we can't control. But when you shift your focus to the things you can control, like your attitude, your actions, and your mindset, you start to feel empowered again. Remember, reclaiming your personal power is a process. It's about taking small, consistent actions that build momentum over time. And every time you take action, you send a powerful message to yourself and the world. I am in control of my life. I am the creator of my future. Chapter 5, The Power of Massive Action. Do you want to know the secret to transforming your life? It's not just about having a positive mindset. It's not just about setting goals. It's not even about having the right plan. It's about taking massive action. I can't stress this enough. Action is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. Without action, your goals and dreams are just wishes. They remain out of reach. I know this firsthand. Early in my career, I had big dreams, big goals, and a clear vision of what I wanted to achieve. But for a long time, I was stuck in planning mode. I would strategize, read more books, and attend seminars, but I wasn't taking the necessary actions to bring my vision to life. And then one day, I had an epiphany. I realized that taking massive action is what turns dreams into reality. Without action, nothing changes. Without action, you'll be stuck in the same place, wishing things were different. Let me tell you about a time when I took massive action, and it changed everything. A few years ago, I wanted to create a series of events that would reach thousands of people and change their lives. But I didn't have the resources or connections to pull it off. It seemed impossible. But I didn't let that stop me. I decided to take massive action. I called people, I booked venues, I created content, I hired a team, and I put everything I had into making it happen. And guess what? It worked. The events were a massive success, and they reached people in ways I never thought possible. But here's the key, none of that would have happened if I hadn't taken massive action. Taking massive action is about doing whatever it takes to make your goals a reality. It's about going all in, even when things are uncertain, and not waiting for the perfect moment. There will never be a perfect moment. You just have to start and trust that the momentum will build as you go. Here's how you can take massive action today. Set clear, specific goals. You need to know exactly what you want to achieve. The more specific your goals are, the more focused your actions will be. Create a plan of action. Break your goals down into small, actionable steps. What can you do today to move closer to your goal? Commit to consistency. Massive action isn't about taking one big step and stopping. It's about showing up every day, taking small steps consistently, and building momentum over time. Push through fear and doubt. The fear will never go away. But you can learn to push through it. Every time you take action, you build confidence and momentum. Embrace failure as part of the process. Not every action will lead to success. But every failure is an opportunity to learn and grow. So don't let fear of failure hold you back. Fail forward. Chapter 6, Creating Lasting Change Through Habits and Rituals. The most successful people in the world don't just have big dreams. They have big habits, habits that support their goals, their values, and their mission. You see, your habits shape your future. The things you do every day, the rituals you follow, and the choices you make all have a powerful impact on your life. When I think back to the most transformative moments in my life, I can trace them back to one thing: habits. It wasn't just a single event or decision that changed everything. It was the daily habits and rituals that I committed to that made the biggest difference. For example, one of the most powerful habits I've cultivated is gratitude. Every morning, I write down 3 things I'm grateful for. It takes just a few minutes, but it sets the tone for my entire day. It shifts my focus from what's wrong to what's right, and that small habit has helped me stay positive and motivated even during tough times. Let me tell you a story about how a simple habit changed everything for a client of mine. Her name was Lisa, and she came to me feeling completely stuck in her life. She was overwhelmed with stress, unable to focus, and felt like her life was spiraling out of control. After talking with her, we identified one key thing that was holding her back: she had no daily structure. She was waking up late, jumping straight into work without any focus, and reacting to whatever life threw at her. So, we made a plan. We started with one simple habit: waking up 30 minutes earlier each day to meditate and visualize her goals. That was it. Just 30 minutes. But in those 30 minutes, Lisa shifted her focus, centered herself, and set intentions for the day. Within a month, Lisa's life completely transformed. She was more focused, more energized, and more productive than ever before. Why? Because she created a habit that set the tone for her entire day. Here's how you can create habits that support your success. Start small. Don't try to change everything at once. Start with one small habit that aligns with your goals. Make it simple and achievable. Be consistent. Success is the result of consistency. Do your new habit every day, even when you don't feel like it. Track your progress. Keep track of your habits and celebrate small victories along the way. Make your habits non-negotiable. Treat them like appointments. No excuses. They're part of your success. Build on your success. Once you've mastered one habit, add another. Over time, you'll create a powerful routine that supports your success. Chapter 7. Breaking through limiting beliefs. There's one thing that stands between where you are today and where you want to be: limiting beliefs. These are the invisible walls that hold us back. They convince us that we're not good enough, not capable enough, or not deserving of success. But I'm here to tell you that these beliefs are just that, beliefs. They are not the truth. I want to share with you a powerful truth. You are not defined by your past. You are not limited by what you've been told about yourself. You are capable of far more than you realize. When I was starting my career, I had limiting beliefs that I had to overcome. I didn't believe I could be successful because I came from a modest background. I thought I wasn't smart enough, or talented enough, or worthy enough to achieve greatness. And I wasn't alone. Many of the successful people you admire today had to fight these same beliefs. Let me tell you about one person I admire, Jim Carrey. You probably know him from his iconic roles in movies like The Mask and Dumb and Dumber. But what you may not know is that Jim Carrey once struggled with a deep belief that he would never make it in Hollywood. At the start of his career, he was homeless, broke, and filled with self-doubt. But he had one powerful belief that kept him going. He believed in his potential. He kept visualizing himself as a successful actor, and he wrote himself a check for $10 million, dated for Thanksgiving 1995, and carried it in his wallet. He believed so deeply that this would happen that he took consistent action every day. And guess what? In 1995, Jim Carrey received a $10 million paycheck for his role in Dumb and Dumber. That's the power of believing in yourself and breaking through limiting beliefs. So, how do you break through your own limiting beliefs? Identify your limiting beliefs. Ask yourself, what's stopping me from achieving my goals? What do I believe about myself that holds me back? Awareness is the first step toward transformation. Challenge those beliefs. Are they true? Or are they just stories you've been telling yourself? Often, these beliefs are based on past experiences or other people's opinions, not on your actual potential. Replace them with empowering beliefs. Choose new beliefs that support your goals. Believe that you are capable, worthy, and deserving of success. And remember, beliefs are just thoughts you repeat to yourself. You can change them at any time. Take action despite the fear. You will likely feel fear and resistance when you start challenging your limiting beliefs. But that's when you need to take action the most. As you take action, you will prove to yourself that your beliefs were never true. Chapter 8. Overcoming Fear and Embracing Courage. If you want to live a life of greatness, you have to learn to face your fears head-on. Fear is a natural part of the human experience, but it doesn't have to control you. The difference between those who achieve extraordinary things and those who don't is that the achievers don't let fear dictate their decisions. I've seen fear hold so many people back from their true potential. People are afraid to fail, afraid to be judged, or afraid of the unknown. But what I want you to understand is that fear is not the enemy. Fear is simply a signal that you're about to do something big. It's an indicator that you're stepping out of your comfort zone, and that's where growth happens. Let me tell you about a time I faced fear head-on. When I first started speaking in front of large crowds, I was terrified. I was afraid that I would mess up, that people wouldn't listen, or that I wouldn't be able to deliver. But I knew that if I didn't face my fear, I would never grow. So, I did the only thing I could do. I took massive action. I started speaking in front of smaller groups first, and then gradually worked my way up to larger audiences. I made mistakes along the way, but I kept moving forward. And eventually, I realized that fear wasn't something to be afraid of, it was something to embrace. It was a sign that I was pushing myself to be better. So, how do you overcome fear and embrace courage? Acknowledge the fear. The first step is to admit that you're afraid. There's no shame in fear, it's a natural part of being human. When you acknowledge it, you take away its power. Reframe fear as excitement. The energy you feel when you're afraid is the same energy you feel when you're excited. Instead of seeing fear as a negative, reframe it as a sign that you're doing something new and exciting. Take action anyway. The only way to overcome fear is to take action. Don't wait for the fear to disappear, take a step forward despite it. Every small action you take will reduce the power that fear has over you. Surround yourself with courage. The people you surround yourself with can either fuel your fears or inspire your courage. Choose to be around people who uplift you, who encourage you to take risks, and who believe in your potential. Remember that courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act in spite of it. Chapter 9. Cultivating an unstoppable mindset. An unstoppable mindset is the foundation of success. If you want to achieve greatness, you need to cultivate a mindset that doesn't quit, no matter what. You need a mindset that's flexible, adaptable, and resilient in the face of challenges. Let me ask you, when life gets tough, do you give up, or do you find a way to push through? The greatest achievers in life have one thing in common: they don't quit when things get hard. They keep going, and they keep learning. They embrace the challenges because they know that overcoming them is the key to growth. I remember when I was building my business. It wasn't easy. I faced financial struggles, doubt, and setbacks. But every time I encountered a challenge, I chose to believe that I could find a way to overcome it. And I did. Because I had an unstoppable mindset. Let me tell you about one of the greatest examples of an unstoppable mindset, Michael Jordan. We all know Michael Jordan as one of the greatest basketball players of all time. But did you know that he was cut from his high school basketball team? That's right, Michael Jordan was told he wasn't good enough to make the team. Can you imagine that? But instead of giving up, he used that setback as fuel. He worked harder than ever, and he went on to become a 6-time NBA champion, earning the title of greatest of all time. The key to an unstoppable mindset is resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back from failure, to keep moving forward even when the road is tough. And the good news is, resilience is a skill you can develop. Here's how you can cultivate an unstoppable mindset. Develop a growth mindset. Believe that you can learn, grow, and improve. Instead of seeing failures as setbacks, view them as opportunities to grow. Embrace challenges. The more challenges you face, the stronger you become. Don't shy away from difficulties, embrace them as stepping stones to success. Stay focused on your vision. When times get tough, remind yourself why you're doing this. Stay connected to your purpose and your bigger goals. Celebrate progress, not perfection. Don't wait until you've achieved everything to celebrate. Celebrate each step you take forward, no matter how small. Never give up. No matter how many obstacles you face, keep going. An unstoppable mindset doesn't quit, it adapts, learns, and continues moving forward. Chapter 10. Living with Purpose and Legacy. At the end of your life, you won't be remembered for how much money you made or how many achievements you had. You will be remembered for the impact you had on others. When I think about legacy, I think about the people whose lives I've touched, those I've helped to see their potential, overcome their fears, and achieve their goals. Your legacy is created every day by the way you live your life, the choices you make, and the example you set for others. I want you to ask yourself one powerful question. What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind? When I was starting out, I made a commitment to myself. I wanted to help as many people as possible create lives of meaning and fulfillment. I wanted to leave behind a legacy of empowerment and inspiration. And that commitment has driven every decision I've made along the way. Living with purpose means living in alignment with your values, your passions, and your mission. It means waking up every day knowing that you are contributing to something greater than yourself. Here's how you can start living with purpose today. Identify your core values. What matters most to you? What do you stand for? When you live in alignment with your values, you live with purpose. Find your passion. What excites you? What makes you come alive? Your passion is a powerful driver of purpose. Set a meaningful vision. What kind of impact do you want to have on the world? Create a vision that reflects your deepest desires and dreams. Live with intention. Every action you take should be in service of your vision. Live each day with purpose and mindfulness. Leave a legacy of service. Your legacy isn't just about what you achieve, it's about how you help others along the way. Focus on making a positive impact in the lives of others.